Good afternoon, everybody. It is my pleasure to conclude this EPC with a lecture on the past, the present, and the future of EPC. Now, let's see. Well, you heard a lot about the past by the first speaker of this EPC, Paul-Georg Lankisch, who, as you learned, was a founder and helped to establish the Ukraine Pancreatic Club. Just to go back to this publication in GUT 1966, where the first time the term European Pancreatic Club was used. And at that time, in this paper, actually, they also published 12 abstracts. That was it. So it was really a club. The history then goes on with a couple of very important contributions. The one was that the CIBA Foundation founded and funded this club in the beginning. And then the first Marseille Symposium in '63, which was all reviewed in this very nice paper by Göbel, Ammann, and Kreuzfeld, published in Pancreatology 2005. And then eventually the second Marseille Classification and Symposium, which was published as a book. So it is important to understand where we as EPC are coming from. So the roots of the European Pancreatology and the EPC are linked to the understanding and classifying of pancreatitis, which is linked to the so-called Marseille classification, and pancreatic function and physiology. It was the high time of pancreatic physiology and physiology in general, which led to the development of pancreatic function tests and the concept of pancreatic exocrine sufficiency. And then, of course, with the great Rudi Ammann, to characterize the natural course of chronic pancreatitis and the pain and everything else. So these are the European roots of pancreatology and the EPC. I've shown this before, but of the several Nobel Prizes giving out in conjunction with the pancreas, the one stands out because it comes from a real pancreatologist, George Palade, who discovered the sorting of the enzymes in different vesicles in the exocrine pancreas. And the APA today has a George Palade Prize for basic science in pancreatology. It is also important to realize that the club started in '65. Some rules established with this paper in 1966, published in GUT. There were some short statutes in '73. They were revised in '93. And then we had accounts in Switzerland with Swiss treasurers Klaus Gür and Christoph Becklinger. Still in 2017, it was a club with no legal status and no legal form. So today, EPC is a registered non-profit organization in Austria. We have a professional management with the general manager, Dawn Sybold, whom you have met, at least virtually, during this meeting. We have a professional homepage. The Pancreas 2000 is incorporated in the EPC as the postgraduate training. We have a young gastroenterologist or pancreatologist club, which is called UPI. And EPC has an excellent presentation with UEG, our umbrella organization, with delegates in all committees, and we have issued guidelines. Well, the last annual meetings were virtual, including this one, so that hopefully will come to an end. So we are very much looking forward to a physical meeting next year. So how to rate the future of pancreatology and the EPC? Well, I think it's really the people driving it. It's not a program, it's the people. And how to create this? There's a recipe for success. And there is a kind of a recipe written for that. And if you take this into the pancreas, you take a candidate, not too mature or aged, ambitious, has excellent ideas, curiosity, dedication, a little bit of teamwork, a dash of internality, a tablespoon of fun and friendship, and then combine all ingredients with a firm hand and gentle leadership, allowed to simmer at various ambient temperatures and give room to grow, incubate for 2.5 years in a clinical research environment, decorate the ready product and present during scientific meetings, such as our annual meeting, and publish the successful product of your studies. And this is what we have done in EPC, and especially in Pancreas 2000 and the UPI. So the number one rule for success is to rely on well-educated and motivated individuals, which can be gastroenterologists, surgeons, pediatricians, oncologists, pathologists, radiologists, and even basic scientists. The second then is they should be immersed and carried by societies such as the Ukraine Pancreatic Club, on the European level, obviously the EPC, and then they should also be carried and partake in international groups such as the Pancreas 2000, UP, and communicate. This is something which EPC has done very well, I think, during the last couple of few years. Now, allow me to have a little bit more eminence in evidence. And you can see here, it's white hair or even the lack of it, as you can see. And let's look into the crystal ball and see what pancreatology and the EPC holds for us in the maybe near or foreseeable future. Well, I believe that pancreatology and the EPC must be multidisciplinary with specialists involved in. We need to broaden our methods and techniques. It should be multivisionary. The pancreas should regain the role, the central role it plays in the digestive tract beyond pancreatic diseases. This is something the hepatologists have done very, very successfully. You can see here another piece which we have started with our president in the first row, and these are guidelines. And this is already the second guideline we published a couple of years ago on the IgG-related digestive diseases. So this is the way, the path forward to put EPC very prominently in the scientific community. And then obviously it was mentioned a couple of times during this, this annual meeting, use also the apps for that. Another thing which I think has to come is applying artificial intelligence. We have done this from the Scandinavian and Baltic expert group of chronic pancreatitis. And then all of a sudden, you can identify things which you have never, ever had a chance to see before. Notably, here with more than 1,400 patients with chronic pancreatitis, there are distinct clusters, three at all, inflammatory, fibrosis-related, and pancreatic exocrine insufficiency related, which have a different cause. And we have to apply this now in the future to find out whether this has any bearing, for instance, for the response to therapy. Another big problem are the IPNMs, the cystic lesions. There is a discrepancy between the European and international guidelines with regard to how to look at those patients. We did a little bit of artificial intelligence looking here for machine learning, trying to identify algorithms to identify those who are really in need for further observation. This is something where we have to go on. There are sufficient numbers of patients to go that way. So this is another area where we also will develop unifying international guidelines under the leadership of Marco Del Chiavo. So the question then for the IPNM and the individuals at risk likewise is when to screen and follow up, how to screen, and what we should measure. Another subject which was brought up prominently, our EPC Lifetime Award winner this year, Peter Ditsche, was what is the fatty pancreas. I think we will learn, as the hepatologists have done, that this plays an important role in the concert of pancreatic diseases. And then finally, pancreatic cancer, which is really a big problem on many levels. We have attended this, particular from the UEG Task Force and Public Affairs Committee under the leadership of Patrick Michel. And there are some things which we put into this paper, liquid biopsy being one of the things which need to be developed to have markers of disease, early markers of disease, and then what else needs to be done to treat these people, patients. I have no time to go into the personalized cancer medicine approach, which we and others are pursuing. One of the things we do pursue right now on a European level is indeed bringing artificial intelligence to pancreatic cancer and personalized medicine. And this is something where EPC should also be involved in the future. And then finally, the pancreatic cancer situation with exocrine pancreatic insufficiency and the microbiome, we must look beyond chemotherapy in pancreatic cancer. So I said this before, I like to see the role of the pancreas as something which plays out in many other diseases, and it's often overlooked. And this is something we do now with the new guidelines under the leadership of Enrique Domingos-Munoz, where we again, as EPC, take the lead together with other specialty societies and national societies under the guidance and financial support from the UEG. So this is really a path forward on this front, so to say. So looking in the crystal ball, there are several obvious and maybe some not so obvious topics around the corner. It's exciting areas to work with. I think there's a bright future with regard to the topics and the areas we as pancreatologists can work in. As an organization, and this is almost the end of my presentation, I think there are also some further perspectives. As EPC, we have to grow to survive as an independent organization. And some measures to be taken is that EPC will be the organizer of the meetings in the future, starting with next year's meeting, and also to actively recruit more members. We have to establish, and this is on a good way, EPC as the one place for education. We're doing webinars. We're also thinking of doing face-to-face spring courses, and then you have Pancreas 2000. And as I just showed to you, EPC must take the leadership for the development of guidelines on behalf of UEG, and this again is ongoing. EPC, and this has also started with a study led by Albrecht Meester from Göttingen, should engage as a partner for large clinical trials, and then even as a partner for UEG-funded projects. And that's also something we try to do now with a new application to the UEG. And all of this, obviously, in concert with other European societies and our UEG. So with this, I wish good luck to the EPC and its future leadership. And I thank you for your attention. And it is now my great pleasure to really leave over to the president of this meeting, Natalia Gubergritz, who had put together a fantastic meeting. I like to conclude with this picture, which was taken last night. Mind you, in the northern Scandinavian countries, this is midsummer, this very weekend. And this is the way it looks at, say, 11 or 12 p.m. Last night. Thank you very much. And please, Natalia.
Thank you, Matthias. Dear colleagues, the 54th meeting of the European Pancreatic Club has ended. Our dream has come true. I hope this meeting was interesting and informative. We hope that we will be able to organize another congress or symposium or conference in Kyiv, and to invite our colleagues to the beautiful capital after the victory of Ukraine. It was a great honor for me to get the Life Achievement Award. It's fantastic. I'm happy. Many thanks to everyone who helped organize the meeting of the European Pancreatic Club and to all the participants. I would like to say that all participants will get a link to view the recorded lectures. The abstracts will be published in the Pancreatology journal. Now it's time to pass the baton to Professor Heike Witt for the 55th meeting of the European Pancreatic Club in Albach, Austria, next year. Please, Heike.
So, thank you, Natalia, for this Congress. And I think it was a very successful Congress, despite all the terrible difficulties in the current situation. We all hope that there will be a peaceful solution in the near future, but maybe I'm too optimistic with my old age. I'm honored to present the next EPC meeting. It will not be in Munich for the simple fact that the Congress Center is in renovation, and an alternative was extremely expensive. But I found a just wonderful location, and Congress will take place in Alpbach in Tyrol. And you can see here part of the Congress Center, the part of the small village. First, what changed to the past is that first time we will have a joint congress or joint symposium with the Japan Pancreas Society, together with the president of the GPS, Yoshifumi Takayama, and some recognized Japanese colleagues at Atsushi Masamune or Sohei Satoi. And I'm also glad that I found wonderful colleagues who want to support me. Hanna Algö, Ekin Demir, Helmut Fries, Robert Grützmann, Matthias Hebrock, who is coming to our university in September from United States, Julia Meierle, Christian Pilarski, Maximilian Reichert, Jonas Rosendahl, and also Roland Schmidt. And I think we will make a very successful Congress. I hope so. What is the location? What is Alpbach? Maybe you never heard it. It's right on the main ridge of the Alps, and you can see below the red point, that's Alpbach, and the red point in the top, that's the International Airport Munich. We will organize shuttle transfer from Munich Airport. It's approximately 80 minutes to Alpbach. Alpbach was elected for several years as the prettiest village in Tyrol, and it's really wonderful. Some overview about the village, and it's directly in the mountains at nearly 1,000 meter altitude. And the Congress Center is extremely modern. They renovated it and built a new tract some years ago, and the plenary hall has up to 1,000 seats. So you can come. Nobody has to stand during the lectures. And moreover, it's a small village, but nevertheless, there are 250 hotel rooms, not beds, rooms in walking distance to the Congress Center. So we started as a club. Yes, we will end next year as a club because this village is very cozy, and you will meet you not only at the Congress Center, also in the village, in the restaurants and hotels. Some impressions of the convention center, and what's about the scientific program. As pediatrician and as basic scientist, I want to give a pediatric and basic science touch. So we will have a session on Wednesday, a pre-course on pancreatic development. Matthias Hebrock will organize it. And we will have a collaboration with the Asperger, I hope, about pediatric pancreatic disorders. You will hear something about Johansen-Blizzard syndrome and Schwachman-Diamond and rare diseases, as well as genetic diseases in animal models. On Thursday and Friday, we have the two EPC GPS joint symposia. One will be on autoimmune pancreatitis, the other one on pancreatic cancer. Both symposia will be organized by our Japanese friends. And over the complete Congress from Thursday to Saturday, we will cover all topics: acute and chronic pancreatitis, pancreatic cancer, surgery, endoscopy, and imaging. So every one of you will find some very interesting lectures and sessions, I hope. What's about the social program also? This is important. We are a club, and the welcome reception will be at the convention center Alpbach. If the weather is fine in end of June, it should be fine. We can do it outside mainly, but on the other hand also inside. On Thursday, there will be the faculty dinner, and who will not attend the faculty dinner because it's restricted. We offer an excursion to the historic town Innsbruck with a city tour, which the participants can book. Yes, some expression about Innsbruck, and it's very old and very nice town. And we will also give the participants the possibility to book by their own cost and restaurant and so on. On Friday, EPC goes high. Alpbach is at 1,000 meter altitude. On Friday, there will be the Congress dinner, and then EPC will go even higher. Yes, the Hornboden, the restaurant, is at 1,800 meter altitude. You have to go by cable car. The first surprise will be at the middle station, and other surprises also if you are on the top. And from this restaurant, you have an extremely nice view over the mountains. Yes, you can be inside and outside. We will start at 7 o'clock, and sunset is at 9 o'clock 11. So if you have good weather, you can see this alpenglow. Yes, and I think you will never forget it to see it from Hornboden. And in fact, 5 years ago, I made a congress in Alpbach, and I created Alpbach junkies. They've seen this alpenglow, yes, from the Hornboden, and they came back the next year. So I hope, yes, also you will become a fan of the Alps and this location. The registration will open from January 1st, and early bird registration, and will close as May 1. And the Congress webpage is already under construction. You can find it as all years under EPC, the year in this case 2023.eu. And I hope we will see us in Alpbach. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Heiko. I think everybody will be looking forward to meet in person, and the pictures look very nice indeed. Before we conclude this, I have to mend something which I forgot to mention yesterday in the General Assembly. Without the help of our General Manager, Dawn Swibold, we could not have gone this way from a club to a legal organization with all the things which need to be ordered and done in an orderly fashion. So not only for the records, but from the depth of my heart, I would like to thank Dawn Swibold for all the work she has put in EPC and the development. We still try to keep the atmosphere of a club, but nevertheless, we must be ready with the legal framework and everything for the future. So for this, and the final thank then again to you, Natalia, who has done and organized this EPC, really, one has to say it, under the bombs from Russia, as I know from your reports. And I really do hope that you will be safe and sound very soon. Thank you, everybody, and see you next year in Austria. Have a nice weekend, and thank you again, Natalia. Bye for now.
Thank you.